Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood. And welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood with me, Dirk Wiley, and my dear colleagues Penelope MacGuffin.
Hello.
And Bench PerDiem.
That's me.
That sun is shining over our beautiful isle, and we're here to rise and shine with it, and with you, the citizens of the Driftwood Isles. Big news! We've just figured out how to broadcast our show over the internet.
Ooh.
So we've been waking up with Driftwood Isles for years, but we might get some international listeners now.
Ooh, interesting.
The privilege of starting the day with them as well. It's high tech stuff. What do we think of that, gang?
I am so excited. I can't believe none of us pressed the button and flicked a
Digital
switch.
age.
That's what I was going to say. I'm mostly excited we got to finally press that button and find out what it does.
You did really want the privilege of being the one to press that button.
And thank you guys for letting me do it. I mean, even though we all kind of like did it together at the same time, but my finger was like in the middle. Yeah. It was exciting. It was exciting. And now we know what it does.
The internet, you mean?
Yeah. I finally get it.
Switch the Wi-Fi on.
Yeah. Just turn it on.
Easy.
Just turned on.
Penelope, I can't help notice you're staring at the wall again. Are you you're still thinking about that?
I know I've mentioned it already, but I just think the etiquette was all wrong, okay? Like, I don't think I was to blame for this. So, look, I'm just going to retell the story from start to finish. I know that you know it already, but like, just tell me if you think I was wrong at any point, okay?
Okay.
So I was at a wedding reception. It was evening. The buffet was served. And you know me, I love a little buffet.
Who doesn't?
I love a little trip to the buffet. So I'm queuing up and I wait my time. And then I get finally to the food and I am loading up that plate. I'm taking sandwiches. I'm taking little sausage rolls. I'm taking little vegetable pakora. I'm getting all
Sounds
on.
like a fancy wedding.
It was real nice. They had a full selection. And I'm filling up my plate. And then someone from behind me in the queue goes, "Oh, Penny, you're holding up the queue here." And I look round. And the man behind me just hasn't started taking from the buffet, like he's waiting for me to finish. So it looks like I'm taking my time. But surely buffet etiquette is you all just start, like you go along in your little queue, and then when that person moves away from the sandwiches, you start taking sandwiches.
Yeah.
I don't think I was wrong. I don't think I was holding up. I think the man behind me got the etiquette wrong.
He wasn't engaging with the buffet.
He made me look bad.
Wait. So was he waiting for you to finish like loading up your plate completely before he starts?
Like clear the lines and things? He needs a full runway to get going on a buffet.
But that's not how line works.
I just keep thinking about it because he made me look so bad.
Calling you out in public.
Yeah.
At a positive event where everyone's just kicking back having a good time.
Like I was doing exactly what is required in the social engagement of eating from a buffet.
Buffet pressure is a real awful thing to put onto somebody.
When do you join the queue? Do you go immediately or does that make you look greedy? Do you wait till everyone else has been and hope that there's something left? Where do you find the middle ground?
If someone's taking a long time in a particular dish, can you leapfrog them?
Yeah,
I'm personally a leapfrogger. If you're taking time,
also if I'm taking too long on one dish, I encourage people to leapfrog me. Like, I need to figure this out. You guys can keep going. Like, there's a signal.
You do take a lot of time making those sorts of decisions, Bench. You're intentional. You're intentional with your life, and I appreciate that.
I like to design my plates before I eat them. I like to know what's on there. I like to have a little bit, like color code the plates, a little pyramid of food, have a little bit of everything. And I want to make sure I make the right choice. I don't want to make the wrong choice.
Yeah. I wish I had your confidence, Dirk. There's no way I'm leapfrogging anyone.
Really?
That I couldn't do it. I could not physically. If you gave me permission to leapfrog, I don't think I could.
Really?
I just don't think. If you said to me, go ahead. I would say, no, you keep...
Because then you'll be in front of that person and then you'll feel the
yeah.
pressure behind you.
I will say though,
What if someone doesn't know that you allowed me to do it and it makes me look like I just skipped?
but I will say, if someone tells you to leapfrog and you don't, you are holding up the line at that point.
Oh God, you're
Good
right.
point.
You're right.
But they also could be setting you up for failure.
I don't think I can ever go eat from a buffet again.
Okay,
by
wait.
sending you ahead of the line.
I need to ask this. The person who was saying this to you,
Uh-huh.
do you know them?
Yeah, distant cousin.
Distant cousin.
Yeah.
What was your
Okay.
relationship like prior to this moment?
Honestly, we'd see each other at social engagements. I thought we were fine. I think we're fine. I think it was said in a jokey manner, you know? But I mean, I was
Did
thinking
it
about
feel
it.
light, the way the tone?
Yeah.
It sounds like they were pretty far behind you on this line.
Yeah, they were. This was a
So
real
could
big
you read
wedding.
the tone and read their body language, their facial expression?
I didn't.
What age are we talking about?
Oh, they're older. They've got like 20 years on me. You know, I think they were just also excited for some food. I took it as a jokey
People
tone.
do. You know what, Penelope? People get ravenous
Yeah.
at weddings.
That's true.
I wouldn't take this personally, especially if it had been some time since the wedding itself. That time between the wedding itself and when the food is served,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
lose their minds.
I was going to ask wherein, so I'm guessing this was like a northern wedding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where in the like chain of a classic northern wedding does like the eating fall? Because I don't know
how-
the tradition as well.
Oh, okay. So classic northern wedding is they have to feed you the whole time in order to stop the fights.
Oh, so
This
there
is-
wasn't a big waiting period between then.
Not a huge waiting period. I mean, for us from the north,
Mhm.
the
Any
hour and
waiting?
a half, whoa.
Too much.
You know, because obviously with a northern wedding, a lot of alcohol gets consumed and you got to just keep feeding people carbohydrates.
To even it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so good.
yeah. It's actually, there's so many events in history from northern weddings where
Name three.
three of them?
Yeah.
Oh boy, do we have
Where
time for
something
that?
bad happened, you're saying?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, well, there's the famous one where the caterers obviously never
the
turned up.
caterers.
Yeah, so the
Oh.
caterers would be like a local person in the village who was really good at making food.
That's where that word comes from.
Yeah, they were that family, the caterers.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Mary caterer, John caterer, Simon caterer, their kid.
Mary Caterer and Ashley Caterer.
Yeah. That's how did you know the cousins?
I mean, they got famous all across the aisle.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah.
They
No,
branched out to a bigger company.
I forgot that they had the
Moguls.
Yeah.
They're from a very young age.
Yeah.
Catering company.
wild when you think about it. But yeah, they obviously with the caterers, if they don't feed everyone in time, things happen. And yeah, that obviously the caterer wedding, like God bless the 10 souls that didn't make it.
Oh
My
yeah.
God.
Oh,
Mm.
oh.
Yeah. Hanger's real.
Hanger.
Is a real thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm glad that we finally, after how old is Driftwood Isles? Like what, 400 years?
You're the
Maybe
historian amongst us,
Yeah.
Bench.
Yeah, well, we all know that the islands were originally discovered by an armada of pirates who found this as a little sort of like bay, for lack of better words, a little stopping port.
It's very
do
hard
their-
to find with nautical navigation.
It's true,
Yeah,
and
it's a
most of the islands were inhabited already. There were people. This was fully deserted. There was nothing here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe around 1600s or so. There are stories of like other expeditions that have found the island, but didn't,
Prior to that?
Yeah. But it's, a lot of that is myth and legend. We don't actually know how much of that really happened.
I can't imagine someone coming to our beautiful isles, hundreds of years ago and going, there's no potential here, and then just leaving. That's crazy to me.
Well, there was a lot of plague. There was just a lot of plague.
There's a lot of plague
It wasn't the
going
plague.
around.
It was a different plague. There was just a lot of it.
Yeah.
So a lot of them just died.
Could you elaborate on that? Like
Yeah.
already present on the isle?
Yes. When they came here, I believe.
In an animal populace?
Yes, I believe the main, if I recall my history correctly, so good listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the main species on the island was rats. It was mostly rats, and they carried a bunch of, I think there were the 3 plagues, of course, we all know the 3 plagues, that and had a few like waves of pirates who had to come here before they sort of developed immunity. It was this descendants of the original pirates who were able to get away and survive that, who passed the gene of being able to survive.
Immunity.
Yeah, the immunity. Thank you.
I think it's crazy though that to think about how long ago that happened, and now from years and years of genetics, it's very, very rare any of us get plague now.
Very rarely.
It does happen.
It does happen, of
Occasionally.
course.
Yeah.
Those rats, the disease hides out in those populations of rats under, especially in New Derrick.
Yeah, New Derrick
Those
is
rats
filled
that
with rats.
live under that city.
I mean, they come out, they are the original inhabitants of the island. We want to be respectful. Yeah, we can't, if we were to exterminate them completely, like there's...
I don't think anyone's suggesting.
Yeah, like we can't do that.
Valuable function in the
Penny, you had a look
ecosystem.
there. You had a look there.
Do you think rats in a buffet situation would queue politely?
I don't think they're going to solve this for you, Penny.
I was thinking about it last night.
You're thinking about rat... Okay,
You
last night you were thinking about...
really spiraled at this event.
You're thinking about rats queuing last night.
I was thinking about all sorts of outcomes and situations.
The behavior of the people at this wedding must have been absolutely atrocious. If you're like, man, I wish a bunch of rats were here instead.
I think you from, you've grown up on the West Coast, probably haven't experienced too many northern weddings. But I think to you might go, this behavior is atrocious. And yet to me, I'd be like, yep, normal wedding.
Normal wedding.
Yeah, regular wedding. Except maybe
Sounds kind of fun, to be honest.
Maybe I
might like to head on up there and mix it up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Next time I have a +1,
please
come join.
By all means.
Because it would also be really good to have someone there to tell me if I'm normal.
Yeah, tell her if she's normal.
Yeah, you're normal, Penelope.
If my
You're a delight.
If my behavior's normal.
Absolutely normal.
Sorry, I'm still, all I do is think about this, think about that situation.
Okay, you good though?
Yeah. The distance makes us think of it less. That's what my therapist said.
I want to meet this cousin of yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
My blood's getting hot.
Oh, Dirk, you're so protective.
I'm going to introduce him to Mr. Wilson and the boys. my right hand is a fist, just singular. It's Mr. Wilson, and left hand
is the boys.
The 5 fingers, those are the boys over there.
Your right hand is Mr. Wilson, and your left hand is the boys.
The right hand stays in a fist, so it's singular. Mr. Wilson, left hand. Those are the boys over there.
You have you usually on the left hand, you have an open palm slap. That's your
my
move.
intro. That's where I start. Then I follow it up with a sock from Mr. Wilson. And then
so it should be the boys and Mr. Wilson.
Or the boys will hold you down. They'll grab a
collar or lapel.
A collar or your tie.
Is it ever like...
And then Mr. Wilson will just wail on you.
Is it ever the boys parentheses feet Mr. Wilson?
Sometimes the boys star in the show, and Mr. Wilson just pops in for a few, for a few hits, a feature in the middle. Yeah.
You get in too many fights, Dirk.
You think the fact that I have a whole sort of naming system and a whole crew, so to speak?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I think it's something that I've developed through necessity over many years of hard living and really getting out there and enjoying my life.
Yeah.
And sometimes enjoyment can turn south. It sounds like that's definitely the case with these weddings.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's okay
also
though.
Why I feel like I might be right at home up there.
Yeah, it's okay though, because I think there's a while before my next wedding that I have to attend. Obviously, I think my second cousin once removed that's not for another 3 weeks.
Okay,
so there's
I'll
a bit
train
of
up.
time here.
Will you? Okay, what was the name of the distant cousin who was rude to you?
Steve.
Is Steve going to be in the next wedding as well?
Oh yeah. It's
fantastic.
Yeah, there's the whole family.
All right.
Does he listen to the show? I don't want to tip my hand, so to speak.
Hey,
I don't
shout
want
out to Steve.
I don't
You
want to
listen.
be waiting for me.
Oh, I don't think Steve listens. I mean, obviously we're, hey, we like to think everyone in Driftwood is listening to us every morning, but there are other radio shows out there.
You don't need to talk about that. That's
we
fine.
don't need to talk about them. We know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I think he listens to him.
They might be number one in the ratings, but we are number one in your hearts.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I can't keep thinking about it. I gotta Yeah. No, if you say something, you say something else, and then I'll try and put it to the back of my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I also have kind of something happened last night that I wanted to bring up because it's honestly it's crazy, guys. It happened again.
No.
Yeah. As you know,
Hey.
I was on the overnight train last night, and there was another murder. And once again,
Again.
and the train was once again stopped on the track because of the weather, and everyone obviously looked to me to solve it because of my background in gentleman sleuthing, and I had to solve the murder. Again.
I cannot believe this keeps happening to you.
Aye.
Honestly, I am never taking a train with this one. I am actually, I even like going away on, the time we did that corporate retreat.
Yeah.
And there was a murder.
There was a murder in the resort.
I'm going to be honest. I've get into a lot of fights, but I've been involved in very few murders. Pretty much all of them have been times I'm hanging out with you, Bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I want to make it very clear. I'm not there for any of the murders. They just kind of like happen either when I'm there or right before I get there. Yeah. I feel like, this has been thrust upon me. Right, and I reluctantly.
Your voice kind of, you said it's been thrust upon you.
It has been.
It
does keep being thrust upon me. What can I do?
Kind of the character you take on when you sleuth these.
I feel like when I get in the zone, again, I go into my mind palace and I try to
you could get a little gruff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't want to blame, I don't want to say that, I don't want to detective blame here or anything along that line. I think it is just, it's just a coincidence that everywhere you go seems to be some sort of murder that you have to solve. But you do bring your detective bag everywhere that has a trench coat in it.
Well, yeah, I have to.
A notebook, a series of powders and little brushes.
It's a big bag. What else do you have in there?
I got my tourniquet. I got a bunch of little books that go into my sort of jacket pocket thing. That in case you get shot, they can stop the bullet.
That one spot.
One small
it's just like fits perfectly exactly to stop one bullet. Good for one bullet. I of course have a variety of sort of liquids that I can kind of like mix and pour over a thing.
A variety of liquids.
Yeah, variety of liquids.
Do you mean alcohol?
I do have a good amount of flasks in there. I have, of course, all of my smoking implements. Yeah, I have all my smoking implements. I have, my vape, my pipe, my hookah, my travel hookah. I take it with me everywhere. Because it kind of, if it happens, and here's the thing.
You want to calm down first.
Exactly. What I never want to happen is to be around a murder and then people ask me for help and I'm like, I don't have my things. I can't do it. I don't want that to happen. I want to be like, okay, this is thrust upon me. I guess I will. I get to work.
Even your posture changed.
You sort of get like hunched over a little bit.
You crumple into yourself like you've seen decades and decades of gruff city crimes.
I really have.
Bench, you live in an all right neighborhood in Derek.
Yeah. No, rarely does it happen at home. I don't think it ever has really happened in New Derek. It's always when I travel. And you guys know I like to travel. I like to go around.
Sure.
And it's...
You've seen so much of our beautiful isles.
All along the archipelago.
Yeah, there's so much to explore everywhere.
But this particular, you said this was on the bus?
This was on the train.
The train.
This was on the train, yeah.
So...
I don't even... I mean...
Did you manage to solve it?
Oh, well, I mean, of course I did.
So who did it?
Yeah.
It was Jeremy Brockheimer.
Jerry Brockheimer?
Not Jeremy Brockheimer.
Uh-huh.
Jeremy Brockheimer.
Brockheimer. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I still don't know who this man is.
Yeah, do we know who that is?
Do we know him?
Well...
So if this just happened and you've just decided this man did a murder, I don't think you should be saying, I believe this person did a murder on radio. It's not going to court
That's
yet.
True. Doesn't there need to be some sort of trial?
Okay, let's take a few steps.
Is there not a trial happening?
Our producer is freaking out behind the glass there.
Listen. I am not saying that I believe that Mr. Brockheimer was the murderer.
Didn't you you solved it though? You said you
just
solved
said.
it and Jeremy Brockheimer did it. Now you're
Exactly.
saying you don't believe that he did it?
Belief has absolutely nothing to do with it. This is all empirical evidence. This is fact-based. This is not an opinion. This is not a belief system. This is
Okay.
based on facts
What were
and hard proof.
in this particular instance, you conducted an investigation.
Mhm.
Was this while the train was still en route?
The train was held due to weather and lack of staff.
It was very mild.
It was mostly the lack of staff.
The lack of
The
yeah,
lack of
because I
staff.
don't
They
think
held it.
Yeah.
Like
They
they
held
don't
the
have
train.
enough people to run this train, so everyone stay on.
That's what they are now saying. They're going to reduce service because they don't have enough people to run the train. But
But they didn't figure that out until they were like
Exactly,
they
they were
left the
halfway
station.
through.
Like, oh God,
Yeah.
we don't have enough people
It's
to
like
continue
God,
this
it's
train.
people were like,
moving.
I gotta go halfway. I
I
gotta
feel like
think.
really you just need the one guy at the conductor to like press the button. I don't know how trains work,
Clearly,
but presumably there's one person operating the train
there's one person driving.
and who else do you need
I mean, you need
to
someone to
get
take
to
the
the next station?
you need someone to take the tickets. You need
Sure,
someone
but I don't
to.
think that's reason to halt an entire train for.
But you need, there's the
We are
dining.
going to get back to this murder, but I really want to figure out what's
Yeah.
going on with
You-
this.
There's a
are
dining cart.
obsessed with the municipal rights and restrictions around public transport.
It's
That is
just
true.
it's just a web of deceit, and I mean to untangle it.
I don't blame you because honestly, the
They're trying to
delays
get
these
you.
days.
It feels like they're trying to
It
get you.
does feel like
You
they're
know
trying to
what I mean?
get you. I can't believe
Not
that-
going to get me.
I cannot believe that our government decided it would be a good idea to sell our railways to the company that makes protein powders. Okay, like why did we sell to them?
Feels like a conflict of interest.
Surely, like they've no experience in running trains.
Also, I'm so sorry, Dirk. How is it a conflict of interest because it is a competing business of running
They're
trains and making protein powders?
When you run, you need
Mhm.
to rejuvenate yourself. You need protein powder.
That makes sense to
you
me.
know what? I take
if
that
you
back. You're
weaken the
absolutely right.
population, they're not going to be able to run and jog places. How are they going to get there? The trains.
You know what? Then that is why you're the gov head.
So either
You're
you're
the
getting
govhead
their
around
protein
here.
powder
yeah.
and becoming an avid long distance runner,
Mhm.
or you're using those trains. So either way, they're going to get you.
You're absolutely
They're
right.
going to get you.
I didn't
Bench.
even think of that. Again, honestly, I'm so good at putting together clues from like little little gestures or like remnants of like dust on like people's like coat collars, but like politics
Really,
that just,
I
like
can
goes
really
up and-
feel the in-depth knowledge of
Yeah.
sleuthing that you're exhibiting here.
a lot of it is a lot of
Powder on
I'm
coats.
I'm going to be honest. This is a little secret for all of our listeners. 80% of sleuthing is recognizing powders on
Different
coats.
types of powders.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's 80%.
That's
It's not the
all
whole
it comes
thing,
down
but it's
to.
I cannot tell you how many times I solved a murder because I'm like that
Coat powder.
coat powder.
You got some coat powder right
It's
there.
coat powder.
I didn't even know. So you're telling me that our coats just attract powder day in, day out?
You know how people say the most bacteria filled or like most filthy part of like the house is like the kitchen sponge.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
That is a true fact. But
Yeah.
it
Are we
is-
supposed to change that? I thought it's sort of a self-cleaning situation.
Oh, it's
Dirk,
definitely not
no,
self-cleaning. No.
Absolutely not.
You put the soap on it and then you use that to clean other things. So how does that get dirty then?
because then
That's where there's clean.
Then you put all the dirt on it.
But that's where the clean starts.
And then water is
The soap is where the clean starts.
water is also.
Soap is where the clean starts.
And the
But,
soap goes
look,
on the sponge. So
You've got logic here, okay, but also water
I
is a
appreciate that.
breeding ground for bacteria. So if you just leave the sponge, damp on the side of the kitchen sink, that's when the bacteria breeds. And I feel like you're just going to say it again at me.
I don't think you're going to convince him. I don't think you're going to convince him.
Today. I can see it in his eyes. He's about to say it one more time.
I mean, soap is where the clean starts.
I knew that was going to happen. And
I've heard everything you said.
Yeah.
I don't see how any of it refutes or undermines where the clean starts, which is
it's
the soap.
on me for going up against the number one debater in the whole
It's
of
true.
the Blackwood Isles.
It's true.
That's
Like
very.
I heard that the Blackwood district was like blown away.
It's where I started, and in debate club, and and it's where I developed my love for oration and the verbal arts.
Yeah.
Forensics, as it were.
We're all
My types of you have your detective sleuthing forensics.
Yeah, real forensics.
I don't know if we need to say one forensics is real and one forensics is not. It's very important. And without my style of forensics, Jeremy Brockheimer would go free because you need to prosecute that individual. And is he now in the court system? Do you hand over your evidence of coat powders to a lawyer of some kind?
Yes, I have forwarded all the evidence. I will say that at the end of this case, just like the end of every case that I, again, reluctantly have to solve, he did confess. Because, once I presented him with all the empirical evidence that I found, for example, he did have a bunch of blood powder on his coat.
Blood powder?
Blood powder.
Yeah, it's a rare thing that happens to when it's when blood is stagnant after the time of murder, when it's like a blood spatter. It's kind of like rigor mortis, but for blood. It becomes like a powdery thing. And if you find it on a coat and you can link it to the blood spatter, because that was exactly the pattern of blood powder on Jeremy's coat was an exact match to the missing bit of blood powder from the train car.
How long was this train stagnant? It was able to dry to the extent that it became a powder.
It was 12 hours.
My God, those poor people stuck on that train with who they thought they knew a murderer was on that train.
You can get a refund. You can get a refund for that 12-hour delay. You're getting your money back.
They're not going to get you. They're not going to get you, Bench.
Yeah.
Also, I did want to say before that that while I appreciate the oral arts and the legal system of prosecution, I will say that is not my job. That is where, none of this is my job. But
it's a hobby.
It is a hobby. Again, it used to be a job, but it no longer is. But it really, my work is done once I solve the case. And then what is done after that, I am not a legal prosecutor. I'm not a policeman.
You could really say in the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups. The police, who investigate crime, and the district attorneys, who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories, because you...
That was really well put, Penelope.
Thank you. Thanks.
Wow.
It's just something I think
you just
about.
Came up with that
I just think about it every so often.
I think that is true, but again, I want to make it very clear. I am neither. Because
no, but you're kind of you're doing the detective part, you're doing the policing. Obviously, this is just a hobby for you. This is just a hobby for you, kind of like a hobby for me is pickleball.
It's true. But again, I will say that my hobby is consultative detecting, or again, I did minor in college in gentleman sleuthing. So that is what we like to call it.
Bench.
Like pickleball, but are you saying it's more serious than pickleball?
How many?
We're talking about hobbies here.
Mm-hmm.
Penelope takes her pickleball very seriously.
You do take your pickleball very seriously.
I get really excited at the end of every radio show because it means there's only an hour and a half till pickleball.
That's true.
The pickle hour, as you call it.
The pickle hour.
The pickling hour.
I love it.
And just to our international listeners who might not be familiar, pickleball, as we do it here on Driftwood Isles, is where you have two tennis rackets and you toss back and forth a big old pickle.
Did you know there is a different
thing falls apart, so you gotta make sure it doesn't
fast, and you gotta really control a lot of control involved. Did you know that there's a version of pickleball from other countries that is not that?
Really?
Yeah.
What do they use instead of the pickle?
Like a ball.
That could go on forever.
Forever.
Then why do they call it pickle?
It's so weird.
I don't get it.
Seems way lower stakes, because once you get that pickle going, it's just a matter of time before it falls apart and splatters on hopefully not your side of the court. It's very intense because it's a ticking clock.
Because what are you going to do? You're going to play the sport forever and then not enjoy a pickleback in the afternoon?
Just so I'm clear, so in other countries also, they do not pickle watermelons for this.
No.
Whole watermelons, as we do. That is what we play with, of course. They don't have...
No,
they
don't pickle anything for it.
Huh.
Strange, huh?
If it's a ball, presumably it doesn't require the strength that it takes to kick a a full pickled watermelon back across that net with your arm.
So
Those
strong.
pickleball players, man, they have some serious strength in their racket arms.
Like, I think I'm good, and then you should see some of the other players.
I mean, you are, I don't want to speak out of turn, but you are ripped.
Thank
you
you.
are the strongest person I know
Thank
by
you so
far.
much. I-
No offense there,
question.
Dirk. You're
No,
I
honestly-
will readily admit when I know my place, and Penelope has the strength of 10 Dirk Wileys.
That's the biggest compliment anyone's ever given me. That is crazy. Like, Dirk, you are, honestly, you're such a gym goer.
It's true. You're a little gym rat.
You
a gym
are
rat.
always there, and I just to be, you
I
know.
enjoy getting the blood pumping, but we all have our limits, and
Yeah.
I still stand in awe of you.
Thank you so much. Hey, just one thing, Bench. Just it's sticking in my mind a little bit. You as a gentleman sleuth.
Yes.
Yeah, like you solve murders, it feels like twice a week at the moment.
At least, yeah.
How come you still can't work out who's stealing your lunch from the fridge? Like, every day you bring in a lunch, and every day it goes missing while we're on this show. We're live. And obviously we're live. We can't just leave and go check.
Yeah, I know
Who
it's not
is?
you two because I have
You're right
eyesight
here,
on you at
yeah.
all times.
But you've yet to work out who's stealing your lunch.
Can I tell you my current prevailing theory?
Please.
I think it's Dolma.
You think it's Dolma.
Dolma, my dog Dolma.
Really?
I think it's, I believe Dolma is a very smart dog. She's a very
Uh-huh.
old dog. She's incredibly smart. She's, of course, there with me whenever I need to do any sleuthing. She's very good at picking up clues. My theory is that she has become prehensile and is opening the fridge.
My God.
Dolma's surely not tall enough for that.
Yeah.
No, she's an English bulldog. They are very stout and short.
Yeah, like the fridge is pretty tall.
That'd be
When you think
impressive.
about it,
I'd like
that
to see
would-
that.
Yeah, like
We
even
should
on
set up a
hind
camera of
legs.
some kind.
Here's the thing. Once you've eliminated all of the impossible options here, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth, right? We all know this.
Also,
We all know this.
you're giving that dog a lot of credit. I mean,
Yeah.
I've met that dog. That dog's not figuring out how to open up a fridge.
No.
You know what I mean?
I watched Dolma try and eat its own poop once.
Most dogs do this.
You said that at the time, but
Most dogs do this. It's very common.
And so you think that Dolma, who will happily eat their own poop,
I don't think she was happy about it. I don't think she was happy about it at all. I think she didn't. She was like, I have to.
Because you think that that's the same animal that's actively trying to get your quinoa out the fridge.
remember that time she ate a full glass jar? She
That
didn't even
was
hesitate as
scary.
I
well.
was waiting to see if you're going to say anything after that.
No,
it
it
was
was
just
a
the
glass
jar.
jar.
And she made eye contact with me as she did it the entire time.
It
And it
felt
was
like a
like-
dominant move.
Yeah, it was, she had like zombie eyes. She was staring straight at me. The jaw was just going, and there was clearly no thoughts in that head.
I can tell you, I took her to
And
the
she
vet after that.
seemed-
She was fine. There was
she was
nothing.
unfazed. It was
Chew.
one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen.
At no point did she chew either. It was just like a gulping thing. That can't be healthy.
No,
Again, she's
it was glass, and it just shattered to dust. One of your powders
Yeah.
in her jaws. I don't understand how it wasn't even shards. It was just powder
And then
instantly.
you came through and you were like, powder. I've worked out the Dolma ate a glass jar. And we were like, yeah, obviously we're not going to eat a glass jar.
But here's the thing. I walked into the room. I didn't know that someone ate a glass jar. And then I
think
figured it
you
out just
probably-
based on the
I don't
powder.
know. I think you'd have heard us screaming, oh my God, it's eating a glass jar.
Yeah, I must have involuntarily said, "Oh my God, Dolma's eating a jar."
I don't think I got through that situation. Like my throat was shredded from the amount of screaming I was doing. Just, Dolma, no, stop. What is this? And then I think I screamed at you, Dirk, what do we do?
And I was wailing.
Yeah.
Wordlessly.
I wasn't
Out of
even sure if
terror.
you could hear what I was saying because you were so scared.
All I felt was the screaming in my mind.
Oh,
I can tell
There
you
were
what
no
I heard.
words
I
or
heard a
internal
lot of
monologue.
screaming. It was really hard to discern any words because it was a lot of hysterical crying.
Yeah, and then you just came in and said, "Oh, Dolma ate a jar."
Yeah.
Like,
It
that
wasn't helpful. It
didn't
didn't calm
help.
us down. We're like,
No.
we know, Bench. It was awful.
I mean, I will say, I didn't quite say it to like comfort you guys. I was more like,
You're like,
I
look
walked-
what I figured out.
No, it was like, there was a lot of screaming, and I was like, before walking in, I was like, oh no, what's going on here? Is there a big thing? And then I walked in, and immediately like, oh yeah, Dolma ate a jar. It's kind of like, oh
Has
yeah, I
this
get it.
happened before?
Oh, of course. That dog is a fiend for jars.
Jars specifically.
Yeah. She likes jars.
Did she eat anything else?
Oh my God.
She ate her poop once. She does like quinoa. Dog food, peanut butter powder.
I
Well, I gotta agree with her on the peanut butter.
Yeah. Who doesn't love peanut butter?
Who doesn't love peanut butter?
Yeah.
I think we've reached a good place with this. Who doesn't
Yeah.
love peanut butter?
Who doesn't
Anyway,
love
yeah.
peanut butter?
I just-
Hey, callers, if you also love peanut butter, get in touch.
Good one, Penelope.
Yeah.
And I will just
That's
say,
a great call-in. Tell us
That's a
about
call-in.
tell us about your
Yeah.
favorite peanut butter experience.
Yeah, we said we were going to try and get more involvement from our listeners. Maybe
Hey,
this is where we start.
if any
This topic is
international-
rife.
if any international listeners are listening and want to call in, I don't know what the
Maybe they're
international
doing
call charge is, but
Cool stuff with peanuts and peanut butter internationally.
yeah.
If you are living in maybe like a fun exotic location, like I don't know, France or the United Kingdom, or something maybe even closer to our very own special isles, get in touch and let us know what peanut butter is like in
What
your
you doing with
country.
those peanuts?
And also, just to be really clear, please don't call in asking me to come solve any murders or crimes that have happened. I am retired, and I will not be taking up any cases unless I have to.
You just slipped into the voice again.
I like
just
it.
takes over me.
I like this bench.
I'm not taking any more cases.
Bench, you cannot smoke in here.
This
You
guy.
cannot smoke in here.
It's just a little travel hookah.
Bench, please.
Okay. That's
Decorum for the radio. We
That's
all
fine.
agreed. Now
That's
that
fine.
now that the international listeners can hear us, we were
We gotta put
decorum
up
for the
our
radio.
best.
Yeah.
Best foot forward.
We are gonna get #1 radio station again. If
Oh, we're
it
gunning for
kills
it.
us.
Gunning for it.
If it kills us or it kills them,
And it might come to that.
get the boys out.
Let's move on. Let's move on from this.
All right, I've got something for us.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, we've got a new nightlife venue opening in the city center.
I heard about this.
Yeah, it's a club. It's called Terry Woo Likes to Party. Now, I don't know if you both are familiar with Terry Woo. He used to work in animal control in the north, up in your neck of the woods, Penelope. But he's become one of Driftwood Isles' most popular electronic DJs. I regularly attend his concerts and his festivals. He puts on quite a show, and now he's opening up his very own club here in the city of New Derrick, and he's calling it Terry Woo Likes to Party. Initially, I thought maybe this was an acronym for something, but no, I guess it's more of a mission statement.
So sorry. You
Really.
thought the name Terry Woo Likes to Party is an
It
acronym.
sounded something. It had to be a play on something.
What do you think it would have stood for?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Just
Okay.
it just felt clunky, like it was leading to something or a play on something.
That's at least 10
But it's
words.
just Terry Woo Likes to Party.
And we're sure it's Terry Woo as in the name Terry Woo and not Terry Woo Likes to Party.
Do you think that's why he came? Well, that is his name. His name is Terry Woo.
I've never understood if I'm supposed to put an inflection on it, if I'm supposed to put a
I
bit
don't
of
think he would be
personality behind
opposed to that.
I think
You know.
I believe it is a stage name, right?
No, I think he's from the Woos.
Is
The
he
Woo
from the
family.
Woos? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The storied Woo family.
Mm.
Yeah.
They have been on the Isles for generations.
They have.
Mhm.
Again, I don't want to tell Daniel out of school, but I do believe that the Woos, that might not be a stage name, but they, when they got to the island, again, historically, I believe they have changed their name. I believe they originally were the Wooburgs. But they had to, we have some troubled history, kind of like to assimilate here from the Wooburgs to the Woos. That sounded more Driftwoodian at the time.
Wait, so they were Wooburg originally, or they changed? At what point did they?
I think when they moved here, I think they were in the old world. They were the Wooburgs.
And so now they're the Woos.
Yes, yeah.
I see.
I don't know if there was any intentionality in forming sort of a dynasty of DJing.
But he's the
around
only. He's one of the only. I know he's the only DJ of the Woo family.
Yeah. I gotta say, for such a small population, like we're Driftwood Isles is mighty, but also pretty small when you think of like other countries of the world, like, I don't know, Peru or the United States of America or China or Italy or Norway or Denmark. Also, actually, now that I think about it, South Africa is pretty big. France, pretty big.
Are they?
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Okay.
I think we're
I don't know much about
smaller
geography.
than all of them.
Okay. Any others that are?
Oh, good question.
I'm
Thailand's pretty big.
taking this opportunity to learn.
Yeah, pretty big. Singapore is pretty big. Yeah, there's a lot of like real big places. I've heard Russia's pretty big. Pretty big. Like bigger than
News to me.
Bigger than Driftwood anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Do they have any electronic DJs? They can't be as good as Terry Wu.
This is it. I've heard somewhere, and I don't know if this is absolutely correct. Like, I just read it in a magazine, but that Driftwood has more DJs per capita than any other country in the world.
That tracks.
we
Honestly, that
pride
tracks.
ourselves on that.
Yeah.
We have a
And you
lot of
can
DJs.
tell, you walk through the streets on any city and on the Driftwood Isles, any night of the week, you'll hear
That bass
those
drop.
sweet beats coming out of every apartment block, coming out of every building.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the business districts.
Oh yeah, they like to party in the business districts. Yeah.
Our stock market is famous, obviously, for opening every day with a little bass drop, and for closing every day with a fun bass horn
During the
cannon.
countdown, as they're
Yeah.
leading
That was,
into we don't have a ringing the bell to
No.
lead in.
It was
We
really,
count down and there's a build up,
Yeah.
and then on one,
and of course, it is really
that bass
exciting
drop.
every year for, of course, New Year's Eve, where we all, host from. We have our little booths right in the middle of Places Square here in New Derrick. We all go and we have the big bass drop
Yep,
at
we
midnight.
dress up real fancy.
Oh, we sure do.
Yeah, it's pretty like impressive how many DJs there are when you think about
Yeah.
it.
For
Well,
my money,
obviously-
Terry Wu's the finest.
Terry Wu is
And
the
he's
finest.
actually invited us to the grand opening.
No way.
Yeah, but it's the
Hey.
last Saturday of the month.
Oh my God.
I am
It's the grand
there.
Woo Ball.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I can't
Specifical-
wait.
Anyone else?
I can imagine anyone who's
Yeah.
anyone. Everyone who's anyone. Anyone who's anyone? Is that the anyone who's anyone?
Anyone who's anyone.
I thought that, is that it?
Do you think your brother's
I
going?
thought that was, what do you mean?
So,
My brother?
Yeah. Do you think your brother's going
I
to be
don't, I mean.
oh, is Jack coming?
Come on,
Jack,
Jack.
he's probably doing promotion for one of his films. He's probably shooting something. I don't know what Jack's up to. I don't really concern myself with it. It's just a bunch of Hollywood nonsense, you know?
This feels like the biggest opening in town. It feels like he might do a little surprise
He's
appearance.
probably
I'd be
over
shocked if he's not.
He's probably on the west coast of the Isle filming something.
You know what? Let's just keep a seat spare in the booth for him just in case. Because I'd hate for him to turn up and then
There's
we don't
no
have enough
way
space in the
he's
booth.
coming into
Yeah.
the booth.
Oh, come on. The booth's, come on. There'll be space in the
All right,
booth.
I allowed him for the occasional promotional tour when it was immediately before a film release, but
Yeah.
we can't just
You
let him
really
come
only
in.
allow it like when he's on the way to the premiere, just like he's here and like the full talks, like
Because
right
then I
before
know,
it's released.
he won't stay long.
You always tell
Because
the
he
taxi
really
to keep that
sucks up
meter
all the
running.
oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, taxi, keep the meter running. Don't.
Because otherwise, he'll be in here for as long as we'll listen.
Mhm.
You know, he just sucks up all the air. You never get him to stop rambling on.
He's got so many impressive achievements.
His eyes,
Does he? Does he, though?
Eyes are
His
just
eyes. Oh,
I mean, we're brothers. He's kind of like my eyes, right? I sort of have those eyes.
different
yeah.
colors.
slightly different colors.
Also,
yeah.
like slightly different, like shape and setting.
yeah,
I'd say.
yeah. And depth. I think the
Yeah.
depth is a real part of it.
You've kind of listed like most of the qualities of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are mine-
Mm. Your eyes are fine.
Your eyes are
Your eyes are fine.
But
Great.
are they good?
No.
You
Your
have good
eyes.
eyes.
Your eyes are great. Don't. Please stop. Just stop trying to get to the mirror. Your eyes are totally great.
Yeah, just put that down. Dirk. Just put it down. You're going to break it again. It's going to be another 7 years of bad luck.
All right.
We just got out the last
Okay.
We
7.
just got out of the last 7.
I can't afford that. Also, I broke a mirror in my flat the other day. And
What?
it's just compounding all of the different avenues by which you can get bad luck. They just seem to be
How many
compounding upon one another.
years are you up to this point?
Yeah.
I've stopped counting.
Oh, buddy.
Boy. Buddy.
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 Buddy. Buddy. You good, buddy?
I don't know.
You doing
anymore.
okay? You want us to maybe do some affirmations?
You want us to do some affirmations? Should we do our affirmations?
Can you tell me what your affirmations are again? I'll admit I wasn't doing the ones you told me before. Could you remind me?
Okay, so one I like to do a lot is you are fine and no one is mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that the therapist told me I should say a lot.
Just factually inaccurate for me. I don't think I can say that.
Okay, maybe you can use what I like to say. I am the world's greatest detective and gentleman sleuth.
I don't think that applies either.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I don't do any sleuthing, Bench.
Can you try Okay, here's another one.
I asked you for affirmations, which really just means like, is there anything good about me that you guys like that you could sort of tell to me and then I could tell to myself? And I'd believe it more if you told me what like something that you like about me, and you guys just said 2 things that you like about yourself, and you're really struggling to find anything that I could say to myself that is positive.
I will say, I do believe affirmations is a thing you say to yourself, because here's the real thing. If you want to get this sort of like value and validation,
like, you're a nice guy. If someone told me I'm a nice guy, then I could actually say that to myself, you know?
You won't. So you are
a nice guy.
You are a nice guy, but
I was waiting for that. Thank you.
You're a nice guy.
I just want to be clear. You are not willing to sort of admit to any compliment or good thing about yourself until you hear it externally. Is that what you're saying?
I feel like you're implying something here.
I'm asking a question.
I don't understand the question. Can you rephrase the question?
You have to have someone externally give you a compliment before you actually believe it.
I mean, how else do you have good things about yourself?
You can feel them from inside.
If someone else doesn't put them onto you.
You can feel them from inside. You can just feel good about yourself.
I don't understand.
Dirk, when's the last time you put on an outfit and thought, I look great? Like maybe you looked in the mirror. That's probably a bad example. Maybe, you caught yourself in the reflection of a shop window and thought, I look really good today.
It's usually more, I hope people think I look good today.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, very external validation kind of thing going on. Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. You guys just like yourselves innately.
Oh, I don't know if I like
I wouldn't
myself.
Say that, but
but try, it's a journey.
Yeah, it's a living.
I don't think this is the time for jokes, Bench.
No, you're probably right.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. It's just no one externally is ever going to give you.
No one externally is going to give me any type of validation or compliments or approval.
It's never going to be enough. And I want you to be, healthy and satisfied on your own terms and not wait for people to give that to you. I really hope that for you.
I hope that for myself too.
Yeah.
And just remember, if you need to start kind of like getting off some of that baggage, soap is where the clean starts.
Soap is where the clean starts. All right, I'm getting a word from Matthias in the booth that we got to take a break. So, Good Morning Driftwood is brought to you in part by Jimmy Chips, Driftwood Isles' favorite snack chip, and don't forget their famous slogan: "In this house, we eat Jimmy Chips." So go and get yourself a big old bag of Jimmy Chips and have yourself a night. We'll see you after the break.
See you soon.
Good Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.